Hey, Vibes listeners. Before we get into this week's episode, we wanted to have a moment of silence and a moment of remembrance for Sherry Pollux, a longtime fixture in NASCAR as the girlfriend of Martin Truex Jr., but also more than that. Sherry had a nearly 10-year battle with cancer and was very public and open about her will and her determination to fight every single day and served as an inspiration to us all. Alongside her public battle with cancer, she was also very public, as well as all of NASCAR, with her foundation and Martin's foundation as well, for helping other women and also children fight cancer as well. They were very big champions of that cause. We want to take this moment of silence to remember all the good that Sherry has done and also to offer our deepest condolences to Sherry's family and friends. Sherry, thank you so much for fighting the fight, being a light of inspiration for us all, and helping children everywhere. Thank you so much.
You can tell me there's tumors in my lungs. You can tell me there's tumors wherever, but I'll never give up. I will fight till the end, till I'm on my deathbed. I just won't stop.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Victory Lane Vibes. We are your hostesses with the mostesses. Before we get too far deep, we do want to introduce our new presenting sponsor, Eastside Roasterz. Check them out in the meta universe on Instagram and on Threads. Our Victory Lane Vibes brew will be coming to you shortly. Make sure you get them a like and a follow. We're about to give you the vibes direct to your doorstep. So Eastside Roasterz with a Z. Make sure you search them, follow them, like them, love them as we do. But without further ado, we got a special show planned for you this evening. When we have a guest, I like to have people go around the room and introduce themselves. So y'all know me, but let's just go around the horn and so y'all can see who we got rocking with us tonight.
All right, I go. Y'all already know me as Bonte, but y'all call me Bonte. Love being on this podcast. Obviously, my favorite driver is Bubba Wallace and Christopher Bell, maybe Kyle Busch too, Kyle Busch as well. But yeah, and that's fan for a long time.
Am I going? You go.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Sorry about that, Shane.
You're
No,
good.
I mean, yeah, back like I never
Well-
left.
Welcome back.
Like we just started out. We're back like I never left. Carl, y'all already know me and everything there's to say about that. So, but we did that because we have a very special guest today. So we're more excited about that than anything else. So I will let him introduce himself.
My name is Shane Mundy, and I drive the number 40 Victory Lane Vibes podcast, Toyota Camry, and the NASCAR iRacing series, the weekly fixed setup series. Big Tyler Reddick fan, 2311 fan, all that good stuff. I've been a NASCAR fan since pretty much my entire life. NASCAR there probably hasn't been a Sunday in my life in our house that NASCAR hasn't been on the TV. So just happy to be here.
That is right, ladies and gentlemen. We are introducing you to our one and only Shane Mundy driving the Victory Lane Vibes Camry. I just have to say, just personally, thank you for your effort Thursday night at Bristol. I'm gonna find out who it was that came down on you and put you in the inside wall. I'm gonna pull up in this house and disconnect his internet.
I got you.
But you stayed in the game. You brought home. You finished 12th, right?
12.
I know you
Yes,
were top
sir.
15. So
Tremendously
that was-
calmer than
Good
I would have
job,
been.
bro.
We were a few
absolutely.
laps down, but we
Yeah,
finished
'cause
12.
Hey,
Man, because I hit the mic button and I just spew like every time. That's why I don't run NIS. I've tried to run NIS a couple different times, and like something like that's happened, and I've said stuff, and I'm like, I guess I'm not racing for 2 weeks. I'm sure that's gonna get recorded. So no, yeah, that was awesome to watch, and we're so happy to have you representing the brand in a positive way like that. Because I know I will not and cannot do it in an appropriate manner. So.
I appreciate it. It's honestly been pretty surreal. Vontae reached out to me on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call that. I guess a few weeks ago now, after, I think it was right after I unveiled the money line car for Kansas. And he was like, "Hey, we should totally run a race with our podcast on the car." And I didn't think much of it. I was just like, "Oh yeah, sure. Like I'll put your logo on it." And then he was like, "Well, I'll put you in touch with the right people." And I was like, "What does he mean by that?" And for it to turn into an actual partnership is pretty cool. All the other we've had some cool paint schemes in NIS this year, but all the sponsors on them, they were just kind of show my support for the people that support 2311, Moneyline and Monster Energy, all those companies, Xfinity. But to have now with you guys and Victory Lane Vibes podcast it's really cool. It's a huge honor to have anyone, any company, any podcast, whatever it is you want to call it, support, me of all people means a lot. So I'm excited about it and hope we can keep building a good relationship with each other.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So Shane, I have a quick question. So is the 40 significant to you or anything like that, or is that just a number that you chose? Or
so that's a great question, actually. So
right.
The number 40, back in 2018, I'm sure everyone here, or maybe not even everybody listening, is familiar. So I guess I'll explain it just in case. But before iRacing, the big sim for NASCAR was NR 2003, made by Papyrus. And me and my late grandfather, we would get online and just race with each other. Me and like this exact room and him, there's a room on the other side of this wall, and he would be in there, and we'd just race each other like Talladega, Daytona. Everything I know about plate tracks came from him. And so I started playing NR for years. I was probably playing when I was 7, and then in 2018, I was a big Chip Ganassi racing fan. Because a buddy of mine, Derek Nealand, was spotter for Kyle Larson, who was my Cup driver at the time. And I'll get into me and Derek's relationship later because it's pretty significant to Tyler and all of that and where I am now. But the number 40 came about because, Ganassi used to run the 40. Sterling Marlin, all kinds of big names have driven that car, but most notably Sterling Marlin, the Silver Bullet, all that good stuff. So I designed a bunch of paint schemes on NR with the 40 on it, and it just stuck. And ever since then, it's kind of turned into a lucky number. And the weird thing is I thought my lucky number used to be 23, ironically. But so, I see it everywhere. I'll look at the clock and it'll be 840, which is the one I see a lot, or like anything 40, but I see 840 all the time. So when Tyler was driving the 8, that made it extra crazy. But I see 40 everywhere. And that's, the hashtag forward, 40 word, as some people spell it. But, all that was just, it kind of became like a life motto to me. It's like just, move forward. And, the 40 is so special to me. And, I've just stuck with it since then. And when I finally got access to the custom numbers on Trading Paints for iRacing, there was no doubt about what number I was going to run. And thankfully, someone, I wish I knew what their name was, but someone on, I think Stenod Racing had posted the 2311 Racing font. Yep, so I was able to get the correct 0 to match the 4. And it's been with me ever since. And hopefully it just stays that way because I.
Yeah, for sure. Real quick, I just asked that because like I'm also big into iRacing and obviously I have time constraints, so not as much, but I also run with a custom number, right? So like me becoming I run the 28 and I also run like 2311 like theme cars, and I run the 28 because my mom was a huge Davey Allison fan and that's how I got started watching. We're watching old races that she'd recorded that Davey won and stuff like that, So I just saw that and I was like, that's really interesting. And obviously you're really committed to that kind of brand or whatever you want to call it. I was like, yeah, I wanted to know about that. So, but yeah, man, that's really awesome. Man. What are you gonna say, Monte?
I was gonna ask Shane a question. What made you become a big Tyler Reddick fan?
So, like I mentioned a moment ago with Derek Nealon, who is now Kyle Busch's spotter in the Cup Series, but back when I was a Ganassi fan, I had a Ganassi Instagram page, and Derek Nealon was spotting for Kyle Larson, who was at the time my favorite driver. And Derek followed me on there, and I messaged him, thanks for the follow. Like, it's pretty cool to have someone actually on the team messaging me and all that good stuff. And now every time I'm at a race, me and him try to find a way to see each other. We've just grown really close as friends. And in 2019, so I always try to root for the drivers that he spots for. Like this year, he's with Nick Sanchez in trucks. He's with Austin Hill in Xfinity, Kyle Busch in Cup. But he was with Tyler Reddick in the Xfinity Series in 2019 when he won the championship. And he also spotted for Tyler when he drove those few part-time races with Ganassi in 2017. But so when Derek announced that he was going to go to stay with RCR when Tyler went up to the Cup Series, it was kind of a no-brainer to me, especially after Tyler won the championship, and I just had fallen in love with his personality and who he was as a person and his driving style and just so many things. So I stuck with Tyler through that, and I think what really cemented it was the week of the Fall Bristol race in 2021. I sent Derek a text, and I was like, "Hey, I'm going to be at Bristol this weekend. Let me know where I can find you." Because that was the first time I went to Bristol. I was like, "Let me know where I can find you." And I was like, I jokingly was like, "And bring Tyler too. It'll be the icing on the cake." And then a few days later, I got a DM on Instagram from Tyler, and he was like, "Hey, Derek told me you want to find a way to meet up." And he's like, "Hey, we're going to meet here at this time." And so I found a way. Nobody, all these fans kept passing by. No one knew who he was. Someone thought he worked at the track, which is depressing in its own way. But, just having that kind of solo interaction with him, it was pretty crazy. And one of Tyler's good friends, I won't say his name because I don't know if he wants me to say his name on here, but he told me on the phone earlier this week, I think it was after I went by the shop in Mooresville, that Tyler told him that out of all these people, that are fans of his, and not many people approach him apparently, according to Tyler, but he said that I am the one that he can pick out of a crowd. And so for me, it's like if a driver that I like cares about me, it's I'm not going anywhere. So it's Tyler or nobody for me for now.
That's cool, bro. That is cool because
Absolutely.
when Tyler went to 2011, because when Tyler went to 2011 racing last year, when I woke up that find out that he was going to 2011 racing last year, I was hyped. I'm like, oh man, Bubba and Tyler could be teammates. I'm so hyped for this. And then I recognized that I'm friends with you on Twitter. I think to myself, oh, my boy Shane gonna be team as warfare driver and stuff. So that's so cool, man.
Yeah, and I think that was what made it even better was the team that he went to, being 2311, because so many people, oddly, on that was already friends with on Twitter, even when Tyler was with the A team, they were Bubba fans. So it was kind of like I was coming as the redheaded stepchild, just coming in being like, all right, here I am. Here's this little Tyler Reddick fan. He's all yours. So, but everyone that I've met that has been 2311 fans and everyone on the team in general just has been just amazing individuals. And, the people on the team are so talented and so kind, and all the people on Twitter, they're 2311 fans have all been just so welcoming of, me coming over to that side of things. Because one of the first things that we did right after the Clash, Kiana, Sarah, Phil, and I all met up, and I and TJ as well met up at a cookout local to here, and just started talking racing and all that fun stuff. And I was like, sitting there, I was like, man, like if he hadn't gone to 2311, I wouldn't even be here right now. So it's led me to meet some amazing people as well.
That's awesome, Brian.
All right, so now I got to ask you, after, for those of you who may not know, after Tyler won in Kansas, 45 for the third time in 2 years, you got to go to the shop.
I did.
Tell us about that experience.
So that's a really crazy story. I woke up on that Tuesday morning, and there's a antique mall out in Mooresville with there's one booth in particular, it's booth 34 Diecast on Twitter. I'm sure some people have heard of it, but they got all kinds of old cars, and I've been trying to collect some of the older cars from my childhood that I never got to buy as a kid, and I was just planning on going there. And then it dawned on me right before, and this was such a spontaneous trip. This was not planned at all. I woke up and I was like, you know what? I'm going. I was like, I got the gas in the tank. Let's go. Let's just go to Mooresville. And I was like, man, 2311, there's shops down there. And I was thinking, I think their lobby's open now because TJ went down there as well. And before Martinsville earlier this year. And I was like, I think he sent me some pictures. So I'm going to go have to check out that shop. And, I walked in and there was a really, really kind receptionist there. I can't remember her name. I'm so bad with names. I hate that. But she was really such a sweetheart. And she, kind of showed me around. She's like, well, the cars are back there. Just don't take any pictures of them. Take pictures of all the trophies, grab hero cards, all that stuff. And, I've grown pretty close with Nick Payne, Tyler Spotter, and John Vining, who's one of the engineers on the 45 car. And I asked her, I was like, is John here or is Steve here? Team president. I was like, these are them here. And as soon as I said that, I think she realized that I knew more than she probably thought I did. And so she was like, I think John is available. And while I was waiting on John to come greet me, Steve walked out of his office and he recognized me immediately. So we talked for a little bit. And then Nick texted me on Twitter and was like, where are you? And I was like, I'm in the lobby on the garage side, because at 2311, they have one side of their shop that's not open to the public. It's where they do the tear down, all that fun stuff. Other side is the garage, and that's the one I was in. And he was like, all right, well, I'm wrapping up at 2. I'll be there in a little bit and say hey. And, he walks out of the garage door and I saw him, and then out from behind his back pops Tyler. I wasn't expecting to see him. And I looked at Nick. I was like, you brought that one too, huh? And, because I feel like I've gotten to the point where me and Tyler are just, I feel like I can bully him just a little bit. Right. But, gave him a big hug, told him congrats on the win. And I pulled out my phone. I was like, my mom's going to kill me if we don't get a picture together. So I drove all the way down here, and if I come back, tell her that we ran into each other and I don't have a picture, she's going to be upset with me. And he's like, well, we ain't going to take it here. And he started walking over to the garage and opened the garage door. And he's like, well, I'm going to break the rules. Come in here. So I walked in the garage, watched him work on the J Balvin car that ran last night at Bristol. So got to see that paint scheme before it was even official, which was crazy, because I walked in the shop, I was like, that's a new one. And he walked right over to the trophy and picked it up, and I thought he was just going to hold it in the picture, and then he handed it to me, and I was like, you want me to hold it? He's like, yeah, you get in the middle of Nick and I and hold the trophy. So wherever they put that trophy, no matter if it's in Mooresville or when they moved to Huntersville, my fingerprints are on it now forever. So that was really surreal. I mean, just not even just holding the trophy, yeah, that was crazy, but just how it all unfolded and so fast was really, really cool. And that's something I'll never forget.
That's awesome stuff. I was kind of starstruck.
That's amazing.
Seeing that picture, I was like, "Wait, that's Shane." Wait,
yeah,
is that
I think a lot of people were starstruck by that picture because, I've gotten on Twitter and every time I bring it up to people, I'm like, I'm not trying to, sound like I'm boasting or ragging. It's like I literally just like Tyler and I have borderline got to know each other. It's not like he's in my phone contacts or anything, but like follow each other on Twitter. He knows who I am, stuff like that. And I don't want to be on social media being like, oh yeah, Tyler loves me more than any other 45 fan. It's like I don't want to sound like a cocky SOB, but like it's just so when I posted that picture, I think a lot of people were kind of had the same reaction you were. They were like, oh, he was serious. Like, yeah, there's a girl on Twitter. Her name is Emily, and she nicknamed me. I think it's still in my Twitter bio. I know it's in my Instagram bio. She nicknamed me Mr. RCR when he was with RCR. Now I'm Mr. 45. So that's what I'm going by now in the Reddick fan base, I guess.
Nothing wrong with it.
Absolutely not. That's dope. But we got some more. We'll give you another chance to spotlight your recent events here shortly. We'll dive into the main bits of the show. Y'all ready to rock?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go.
Yes,
So
sir.
Shane, since you're here as a guest, you get to share your opinion on this week's craziness too.
All right.
So I gotta, of course, we gotta stop by F1. Wink, wink. The F1 race was in Singapore this morning, and a Red Bull did not win. It was fantastic.
About darn time.
Carlos Sainz captured his first win with Ferrari, besting Lando Norris and Lewis Hamilton. Lewis gets his first podium this year. Is that right?
Lewis gets his first
podium?
No. He's had a. I'm sorry. He's
podium before.
Yeah, I can't remember how many he had this season, but definitely not his first.
It wasn't the first one. We'll bet.
No, he's had about 4 or 5.
Yeah,
he's back where he belongs in podium status.
Yes, sir.
I watched every second of this race. Did any of you all fine fellows watch it?
I saw a bit of it, and then the stream went out because I was out with my dog this morning. But I mean, Singapore is always put on really good action. I was looking forward to it, and the fact that whatever is going on with the Red Bull, that they ran 6th and 7th respectively, made it even better. So that was really good though. So yeah, I was excited for it.
I didn't watch the race. I kept up with the highlights and stuff. 2 things. Did they change the cars? Because Red Bull was running, what was that? 6 and 7, right?
Yeah. So
there was a baby tweak this week to all the cars.
Right.
And it looks like Red Bull was the most significantly impacted by the rules update.
Yeah, I need to find the exact. I had it pulled up and I lost
wording.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to,
AKA Netflix got in their ear and said, "Hey, Drive to Survive is going to be trash if y'all don't switch this up right quick." So
it would not surprise me. And I've got another anecdote to share about our F1 discussion. But I do want to say this real quick as I'm looking for what the actual change was. You talk about Lewis on the podium, right? And this probably could have been a Lewis Hamilton win. If George, if George would have just let him through. And this is the antithesis of like the conversation about how is Mercedes dominance not boring, but Red Bull is, right? Because Mercedes drivers, whether it's been Hamilton and Rosberg, Hamilton and Bottas, or now Hamilton and Russell, have never been afraid to take points off one another. And I said in our group DM, it doesn't matter of how hard Perez sells. There's no one, whoever gets that seat next, no one is going to be able to be in a position to take points off of Max. They just won't allow it to happen. And so there lies, in my mind, the reason why 2014 to 2021, were tolerable. I mean, there definitely were some lulls, right? But versus the last 2 years have just been, I mean, last year had some good moments for sure, but this year has just been miserable. And I think there lies a huge difference between how one team dominates and puts on more fondly than the other. Anybody else talk about the F1 race this weekend?
I was gonna say finally on a Red Bull win. I said that though, but I'm really happy that Lewis got the podium, got a third place podium. I'll take that though, but I hate it for Russell. So I hope he rebounds for the next race. Is they racing next week or no?
Nah, they don't race again until I have their calendar intertwined with my calendar. So,
okay. When's the next race?
Just wait for it to load. Come on, iPhone.
Come on, iPhone.
Come on,
iPhone 15. Release new iPhone 15.
Yeah, Apple trying to make it known that I need that. So they do race next week.
Okay.
They are in Japan. Then they go to the next fresh hotness. They go to Qatar after that. So Qatar is a really fun track. I love Qatar. But before we switch to the NASCAR recap, just to piggyback off of what Carl had started to say, Lewis had a race-winning car, especially after the pit strategy when who wrecked? There was a VSC, somebody wrecked.
Was it Russell wrecked or was somebody else?
No, it wasn't Russell.
It was before that. There was
before that?
It was a virtual safety car. It was an Alpine, Esteban Ocon. His car blew up.
Okay.
They had a virtual safety car, and the front six had broke away from the field, and everybody else behind them was able to pit. Mm-hmm. Mercedes was like the Batman shin rub, and they double boxed and put on fresh mediums. And we know that Lewis does a really great job taking care of his tires, warming up his tires properly so he can get optimal efficiency out of them. And Russell was George was just trying to just push a little too hard. I think his brakes overheated, which is why he locked up, which is why he ended up getting into the tire barriers. He had also pulled off line to, I guess, change his line to break the draft from Lewis, but he was just pushing way too hard. And I feel like that should have been a conversation how we hear Ferrari go back and forth between Leclerc and Carlos. Yo, he's slow. Tell him move before I move him. Because I would have liked to see Lewis catch him, but hopefully we learn from those mistakes as they move forward to Japan next week.
Sir.
Anywho, let's get to the more important part. NASCAR, Bristol. Start with the trucks on Thursday. Corey Heim, Christian Eckes stole the race the week before. Corey Heim stole this race from Christian Eckes. This was a rather tame truck race. What are y'all's thoughts?
So I didn't watch the race. I think I was at work during time, but I kept up with some of the highlights. So him getting that win, that was crazy. So that was cool. I know that win, Corey Heim, the guy, is going to the championship 4. So big ups to him. Yeah.
I saw where it was the race was an hour and 45 minutes or something like that.
Super fast race.
Yeah, super fast race. Man, it was cool from what I was able to catch. I was at work and you know how that goes, but I don't know, man. It just as a whole, it just seemed pretty tame, considering. So like I said, but yeah, I don't know how to feel about Corey Heim. Brett Griffin or Couch Racer made some suggestion about maybe is he Toyota's next big thing. I just don't know that he's in the conversation enough to really consider that. But maybe, I guess. I don't know. But Yeah, I didn't foresee him being in the championship 4 for the truck, so it'll be interesting to see maybe somebody who we didn't have picked initially be able to go all the way there.
He was definitely not in my predictions, but he got a dub. Also, shout out to Rajah finishing P6. Shane, I know you were a little busy Thursday when the trucks were running.
Yeah.
But did you were you able to catch any highlights?
So I didn't really even see any highlights. So during the stream, I was kind of asking people every now and then. It's like, someone update me on it, because this is kind of drawing out quite a while. And of course, they were done a good bit before we were. But Corey Heim's my truck guy, so happy that he got the win there. And moving on to the championship 4, he's super, super talented and definitely going to be a threat in Phoenix. Not too sure who the other 3 will be to join him. I would figure, there's a few names you could throw in there that may be a lock, but with this playoff system, you just don't know. But above all, just happy Corey made it. Wish Rajah could have kind of had some redemption from earlier this year. I think that was at Kansas. But yeah, so didn't catch much, but happy with who won it.
Yeah, Rajah had some speed Thursday night. I'm just glad that they're starting to get hot at the right time. Hopefully he's been leaning on Bubba for some draft advice. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets P1 when they race again, when they get down to Talladega, because he's been decent at plate tracks. So we'll see how that works. Baraka, you hear rocking that AMG Petronas. You just missed the F1 section, but did you have any time to watch the truck race?
Yeah, this is the one time you're probably gonna catch me with the Patronus. I just bought it because it looked pretty dope.
I need that shirt.
It was pretty dope. I saw it and it's like, yeah, I dig it. But I was updated on Twitter because I had like assignments in lab that I needed to finish up that day. But I heard my boy Corey Heim won, which I'm happy he's in the championship 4. Very talented driver, I think. I don't know if it's just me, but I don't think he gets the flowers or the praises that he deserves at times. And because again, he's very talented. I heard about I think Raj won it better, but it is what it is.
And now since you have the mic, what'd you think about the Xfinity race?
Xfinity race. I sadly I missed out on the Xfinity race because it was my sister's birthday, and so I was pretty much out the entire that entire.
There's nothing wrong with that. We accept that, and happy belated to your sister.
Yeah.
Shane, what about you? What'd you think of the Xfinity race?
I actually I enjoyed it for the most part. Xfinity is kind of, I feel like a lot of people can agree Xfinity has the best cars out of every series, at least in my opinion. Definitely heartbroken about water cooler Dale there. Wish he would have got the win. I was really impressed with the pace he had. A lot of these Xfinity races he's done over the last few years, it's been great to have him there, but he's never really shown race winning speed. So it was really nice to see him up at the front, leading laps even. I mean, there was definitely a couple times I was like, man, Dale Jr. really might win this race. So it's unfortunate, that he had the fire in the car, but mainly glad he's okay, and hope maybe he can get something done at Homestead. I know he loves Homestead and is probably really wanting to win there, so he'll be back, and I'm sure he'll be back next year too. So hopefully he'll win one of these things before he really just full on retires. But in terms of the winner all guyer, I think it's great for him. He is very overdue for a championship, in my opinion. He's a great talent. He's had some rough luck in his career, but I think he could definitely be a threat this year. But the main threat in Xfinity is obviously John Hunter Nemechek, and I feel like you're going to have to go through him if you want to win the title. And then my two boys, Sheldon and Austin Hill, kind of got into it there, so I wasn't really thrilled about that. Austin's my main guy because of Derek, but hopefully they'll be able to recover and at least get to the next round.
Now that you bring that up, so do you think, I'm going to ask you, Shannon, and everybody else can jump in. Do you think Sheldon was just tired of Austin bullying him, or was it incidental, or he hit him and got him loose and he just decided to finish him off and keep it pushing?
So from my vantage point, and I mean, I don't know how comparable, I mean, I know drivers are like iRacing, so realistic, but from my, what I did learn in the Xfinity cars this week on iRacing is that if it was a mistake, it sure friggin' looked like one. Because, I mean, it was really easy to get, just kind of tied up off the exit and not even realize that they were there. And Austin had a lot of room between the wall and his car on exit of turn 4, whatever exit of turn that was. I think it was on the front stretch. But I think it was just a racing deal. I don't think it'll, and I hope it won't, boil over into any kind of beef or anything. It was just bad timing on Sheldon's part. Like, don't get me wrong, Sheldon is 100% at fault for this, but I am 100% positive that it was not intentional.
Bonte, what you think? Was it unintentional, intentional?
Unintentional. I didn't see. Yeah, like unintentional. I don't think it was. I don't think it was anyone's fault. Racing deal. It happens. It's short track racing. So that'll be all right going to the next race.
Yeah, just to pick up. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think they'll be okay. I don't think there's any true hard feelings there. I mean, it's Bristol and things happen. They happen fast there. Yeah, it was really cool seeing Junior out front. I thought that was awesome. I don't know what they found, what they figured out, how legal that car might have been. But, the really interesting part for me was when Junior talked about, guys reaching out to him and stuff like that. Man, I would love to see some guys that are either retired or, whatever, come back into the Xfinity Series in a competitive car. I would love to see a Ryan Newman or a Jeff Burton or, we kind of saw Bobby Labonte, but those guys, Tony Stewart even, to run an Xfinity race in a good car. Because right now, I'll be honest, man. I can't really fixate on the Xfinity Series too much or the Truck Series because there's just nobody to root for. It's all generational money. It's all kids that don't really know how to race. I mean, you have AJ Allmendinger and Justin Allgaier to kind of save it, but that's really about it. And next year it's even going to be even worse. I mean, I was thinking today, I was like, I don't think ever in 20 years of watching the sport have the bottom 3 series, including ARCA, had an identity crisis quite like this before. I don't know what's going to fix it either, but anyway, that's my rant on it. But yeah, Friday night was cool, and just looking forward to the rest of the playoffs to see John Hunter hopefully close that thing out.
John Hunter, need me car.
Need me check, baby.
Yeah, people used to call him Nima Truck. He was in Truck Series.
I need Nemechek to pull through.
Sorry, go ahead, Jared.
No, you're good. I was just saying, I still commend John Hunter for realizing he wasn't going to get far in the Cup ride that he had, and going back down to trucks, signing on with Toyota, and just whooping everybody in every car that he's been in. So and we're getting ready to talk about the Cup part here in a second, but with the speed Legacy has had in the last 2 weeks, with the speed Hocevar showing in that car since he's been in it, Legacy is going to be scary next year, especially with John Hunter behind the wheel. So I'm really looking forward to the rest of the season, of course, but next year looks pretty delicious for these ratings, if people are fans of the sport. And we'll probably, I might circle back to this, but I just want to bring it up now since we're talking about Xfinity. Brandon Brown made a reappearance on social media the other day, speaking on his deal and
that's
his
putting it lightly.
he was
He
he was out here in
speaking.
these streets. He was spitting facts.
He was not playing, my boy.
And that it's good to see him defend himself over his deal, or the lack thereof. Um, Shout out to Larry's Hard Lemonade. They're here in Virginia. They were a big sponsor of Brandon's at the time. Um, just an unfortunate situation that happened to him. Hopefully, he can find his way back into a car because he's a talent that needs some wheels. So, just wanted to reach out and shout out him. We got your back. If you ever want to come on here and explain your side of the story outside of Twitter, you got to open invitation, my friend. Did y'all catch? Did y'all catch that soliloquy?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw all of that, bro. I saw all of that, and I do not blame bro for not one bit for speaking them facts. It's crazy how people was like. It's crazy how people was like, "Oh, this you," because he had the LG, whatever that damn sponsor is, and he said this. I didn't force that. So he didn't sign on that sponsor.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, fans, they have issues understanding that, the drivers, they really don't have any control on what goes on their cars. And, especially with all the political stuff, we've seen political sponsorships on cars for a long time. Like, this isn't like Trump era stuff, like where this started. This has been a thing for a long time. So, it's really terrible what happened to Brandon in his career, because he seems like a really genuine, great guy, and honestly, very talented, if he's in the right car. I think the whole situation is unfortunate, and the people that, are coming down to him for the like LGB coin or whatever it was you're talking about, that scam of a sponsor, claiming that like, he's the one that brought this on himself. He should, if he didn't want to have anything to do with it, he shouldn't have fueled the fire. He didn't really have a choice. That team, that is an underfunded team. It's not like he was driving for Hendrick Motorsports and they were like, "Oh man, we need a sponsor bad, and we'll take the first one that comes to us." This is an underfunded team. They're going to take what they can get, and I don't blame them for it, and I don't blame him for it. So all the people that are coming down on him really need to take a step back and just realize that he probably had nothing to do with it, and if he did, it was very minimal. So,
all right, yeah, I mean, he ain't had no other choice. So, what more can you want with this man? Like this, like he definitely not a he not a Hendrick. He definitely not a JR Motorsports team. Like he's under the team. What did you expect?
Well, I mean, we gotta move on some other things, but I mean, yeah, it was nice of him to finally break his silence on that. I think that there were probably a lot of moving pieces that he really couldn't step out and say, but I mean, at the end of the day, I'll admit, like I said, I was a bit annoyed behind the LGB coin deal showing up, and just that whole deal, and it's even more annoying that Brandon Brown. Not to be political, but I mean, it's more annoying that all of these grifters used that moment to start a movement that wasn't even associated with Brandon Brown whatsoever. And he didn't see anything kind of behind it. It was really annoying seeing all of these, Richmond, north of Richmond, so to speak, step in and go, "Yeah, let's go Brandon," but not give a racer any money. And he had to close up shop because, I mean, there just was nothing there for him. So, hate that for him, and I'm glad he got a chance to kind of speak out about it, and hopefully, he lands on a really great podcast, or one of those lesser ones like Dale Jr. Download. I don't know, but yeah. Anyway, so
He was a victim of circumstance. Which
absolutely, 100%.
Like I wanted to put my 2 cents.
Yep.
I'm sorry, but
No, you're cool.
I think like what everyone says is like at the time, tensions are high politically and all that. Everyone, no matter what political affiliation you're on, you're on edge pretty much. And for Brandon, after winning a race that, probably he himself, he's never thought he'll be where he was at that moment in time. And you have these. I don't want to like offend anyone, but these I don't want to curse. So you got those type of people who take what was meant to be a moment of happiness and glee for a driver, turning it into a first of you know and like a right wing meme thing to circumvent certain things and all that other stuff. So and then with the whole LGB coin, again, underfunded team. You'd be surprised on how many shady sponsorships happen, not just NASCAR, but in motorsports in general, especially for underfunded teams.
And it's not exclusive to underfunded teams either. Just take a look at
Not even underfunded
these
teams, even the big teams. Like we had the Rich Energy fiasco a few years back with Haas.
and
It's
DC
like
Solar with Ganassi.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
this is
DC Solar.
this is nothing new in motorsports. It's just it sucks that it happened to a driver who, all intents and purposes, seems genuine. He was there just to race. Do something he loved to do, and just have that be hijacked. It's pretty sad. At the point, yeah, again, close up shop and all that. Pretty sad.
I appreciate y'all's insight on that. But like Carl said, Brandon, if you want to come on a goated podcast, you're welcome anytime. Now I have to preface this. We're going to recap the Cup race. The next section, we're going to talk about 2311. Just one more time. We're going to talk about the Cup race recap. Saturday night, under the lights, the last great Coliseum, 500 miles in Bristol, Tennessee, Virginia. Denny Hamlin, shout out to the boss man, did what needed to be done, put himself in the round of 12 by capturing the flag.
I beat your favorite driver.
I beat your favorite driver.
Iconic.
Put it on a t-shirt.
That iconic,
I'm
bro.
telling you,
That's one of the hardest quotes of the year.
Literally.
If I can lead on this, I'd appreciate it.
That's right.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
So there are a few post-race interviews that you think that always stand out to you, right? I think of Kyle Busch smashing the guitar in Nashville, him doing the crying eyes in Chicagoland in 2018. I think about Ward Burton saying he wished he could have shot through the window. I think about Dale Jr. Telling the NBC post-race at Talladega, it don't mean shit. That Denny's won here 10 times. I think about those moments, right?
Don't forget the Bubba Shush, too.
Well, yeah, the shush, yeah, absolutely. This is one of those moments, and there's a lot of camaraderie on Twitter today about, hating Denny Hamlin, so to speak. And look, it's no secret that obviously the amount of boos for him have gone up in the last 3 or 4 years, and what has transpired in that time frame? Well, obviously he's had issues with 2 different Hendrick drivers, and which car does he own, right? We can solve that problem real quick. But what I do want to say, we can answer that question as to why he's booed real quick. What I do want to say though is he is on an insane form right now, and he's had an opportunity to win these first 3 races. I think had some things gone differently, he could have walked off and swept the round. I know it's early, but I truly feel like this could be the year for him, and I want it to be so bad, purely from the perspective of just the seething that's going to come from some of these fans. You want to talk about the race? People were complaining on Twitter last night saying it was bad X, Y, and Z. Yeah, I mean, obviously we've talked about this car before, the lateral grip, the tire not giving up X, Y, and Z. The tire fall off was a reason that Bubba kind of got relegated to the mid backfield like we all saw, whatever. I still enjoyed it. I think Bristol is Bristol. There's always moments that you're going to enjoy from a Bristol race. And I think even the worst Bristol races we had through the Gen 6 era were still better than a lot of other races. So I thought it was great. It was tense all night for sure. But, beyond the Hamlin winning situation, man, shout out to Carson Hocevar. Running top 5 in a legacy car, is just, I won't say it's insane because the 43 has had speed, but for him to do it And keep in mind, he's mainly been a Truck Series regular for a couple years now. There has not been any, if there's very little, if any, seat time for him at all in this car or the Xfinity Series to jump into that car and run that good, man. I'm just like, I have done a 180. I was a certified host of our hater at the beginning of the year. I'm all for him now. I think that's awesome. And I hope with that announcement about, the Trackhouse Inspire deal, I'm hoping that, the streets are saying that Ty Dillon's going to go over to colleague. So I'm hoping that we'll have a Zane Smith, Carson Hocevar Aspire lineup next year. But yeah, I thought the race was good. I mean, it's as good as you're going to get with Bristol. So yeah, that's my take on the whole deal.
I ain't a lot. I enjoyed that race. Like Carl said, it was intense. Little bumps and banging. Obviously, it's short tire racing. The whole Corey LaJoy led some laps in the first stage, so props to him. Then you got Carson Hocevar. Hocevar, a Truck Series driver, finished 11th. Literally led wasn't in like top 5 for the remainder, top 5, top 10 for the remainder of the race. So in my opinion, that's impressive. Like that is cool to have him finish that high in Legacy Motor Club in a 42 car, despite the horrible finishes they had this season. So props to them. They needed that. But LaJoy had that big one, and it caught the defending series champion Joey Logano. Yeah. So that was shocking to see Joey out the playoffs in the first round. Because this is his first time. It's his first time that he is out the playoffs in the first round. The rest was like round of 8 or round of 12, or one time he never made it. Overall, I enjoyed this race. Denny Hamlin, that man is him. The fact that he said, "I'll be your favorite drivers," and they said all of them. That's cold. That is cold, and people boo him. And then the crazy cause is they went silent after he said that. That was too funny. Denny Hamlin to go for that.
Baraka, what was your take on the race last night?
So my take on the race. First off, I'm happy my boy Denny pretty much shut up his haters. He had the I'm him moment after the race when he said, "Yeah, I beat all your favorite drivers and all that stuff." Um, the race was very entertaining. To the and I was on edge for obvious reasons for me being a Bubba fan. Me like tensed up just looking at the live points, playoff point standings, and all that was very stressful, very tense. But watching that car, watching Bubba do his thing yesterday was very pleasing to watch. I think the team that decision to stay out towards the end of stage 1 was probably I say high risk, high reward situation, given that not many cars stayed out. Most of the cars went to the pits, and I think six stayed out just to collect some stage points. But seeing certain drivers and how they could easily go around the track, overtaking people on fresh tires, it worried me a bit. But seeing Bubba handle even on much older tires, I think he finished stage 1 third, if I'm not mistaken. Can someone clarify before I even continue? I don't know. Yeah, third place was nice. Yeah, again he started falling back towards the end, but given the LaJoy terrorism that was on display to the point that Joey first round, I didn't even predict Logano going out the first round like that, but a means to an end type situation. And then you'd have Kevin Harvick's Stuart Haas car, who, yeah, he'd been carrying that team, but yeah, that night was just not his night. The cards fell right in our hands with us advancing to the next round, which I'm happy. Truex caught life. I can't lie. I think, his incident in the previous race really did hamper him a bit to the point that he had to show up, and he kind of did. I know it was stress seeing Bell and Hamlin lapping. I think, yeah, he was lapped. So yeah, lapping him. I know he was probably stressed to death about that, given how consistent he was. But overall, entertaining race. I'm just very excited for the next round and all that. So yeah.
All right, now we normally spotlight, if we have a host attend a race. Now, Shane, I will preface this. You can give as much or as little detail about your experience, but since you were at the race last night, what are your thoughts?
I mean, from where I was, I couldn't see a whole lot, but I was in the infield. I'll give that much away. I won't, say how I got into the infield, but met a lot of great people from 2311 and hung out with some neat a certain neat celebrity that some people might know. I don't know. It might have been on the 45 car, but anyway, nonetheless, I enjoyed it. Like was mentioned, Corey LaJoie leading laps. That was a big surprise. Honestly, seeing just that 7 car come around, I thought he was traffic at first because I was, it's kind of hard to pay attention when you're at a race that's, Bristol is so small, everything happens so fast. It's hard to keep up sometimes. But finding out he was in the lead, it was cool to see him up front. The 2311 cars, just I think we were both pretty good. I think it's just from what I have noticed, because I was in Martinsville in April. And I, don't really know much about Richmond, but maybe because I know Tyler was pretty close to winning Richmond. I think 2311 short track program, we just got to get better on long run speed. It seemed to me like they fired off really, really well, both of them, and then they just kind of started dropping like a rock. Because either that or they just stay put. They get to a certain position and couldn't go anywhere. Like they wouldn't go backwards, but they wouldn't go forwards either. Near that last run of the race, and I think it probably was the last run of the race because we didn't really have a ton of late cautions. But Tyler was rolling. He was moving on up to the front, and then it's just like he stopped. It's just like he stopped gaining spots. I think he lost a couple and just never got anything back. So ended up 15th there for him, 14th for Bubba. But, the most important thing is both 2311 cars are in the round of 12. Not only the first year because I know Kurt won last year, but he didn't get to participate in the playoffs because of his injury. So, you could kind of call this the first year 2311 has had a car in the playoffs, period. But especially the first year that they're both in it, and for both of them to not only make the round of 16, but to both be into the next round, the round of 12. That is a huge accomplishment for this team. And I don't think enough people are really talking about it either, and let them stay quiet about it because, it's like I said on Twitter in a video after Tyler won Kansas, like, watch out. Like, we're coming to Phoenix with something. Because it is really impressed me. This team is 2 years old. Their first season was 2021, and here we are in 2023 with both cars in the playoffs. They started out as a single-car team, then immediately became a two-car team, and they're already 2 years later, both cars in the round of 12. That is amazing. And like was mentioned about old boss man Dennis, I could not hear the quote for over the intercom. I learned about it when I got home at, I kid you not, like 4 a.m. But my ears are just now going back to normal, that is one loud place, especially when you're in the middle of it. Like, it's way different than being in the stands at Bristol. But either that or the next gen car is just way louder at Bristol than the Gen 6. But either way, enough tangents. But, Denny, I think, and I don't want to be like how everyone has been for years now. It's like, oh, this might just be Denny's year. He might finally get it. Because I agree this year. I definitely think he could. He's had speed when it has been important. And, if there's any time to get hot, it's right now. Like, you got to go. And I think that 11 team is one to be reckoned with. But hopefully not more than the 45. But overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, of the race, I'd probably give that one a 7. It was one of the more tame Bristol races. I might get flamed for saying 7. I don't know. I just feel like it was kind of, it was above average. But in terms of Bristol night races, like, it wasn't too chaotic, but sometimes that's a good thing. But all in all, good race.
Yeah, just to tie this up with a bow, in order for NASCAR to continue to sell us on this generation of car, we needed Corey LaJoie to be out front the way that he was. They have some funding as quiet as it's kept. I'm expecting them to be way better next year than they are this year. We'll touch in the silly season in a second, but I needed Corey LaJoie out front to believe in this car. I was excited when NASCAR was like, oh no, we're not going to bring the short track car. Let's bring the 1.5 mile car and just put the new tires on. I was like, yes, passing. No, not passing. Christopher Bell had it until he didn't. I still feel like there was some moving and some shaking in the field, regardless of how the car was. Kyle Larson made sure that he was going to be a threat to be reckoned with and drove, from the back to the front. So somebody found some speed somewhere. I just feel like when this car gets around other cars and it's Bristol, you're always in seemingly dirty air. You kind of can't, you can't really move. But I think I agree with you, Shane. I give this race a 7. There was some calamity at the right time, just to ensure some playoff craziness. I know NBC was excited about that. They continue to confuse me with their live playoff graphic that they use, even though it's assuming that's where they're finished, or throwing everybody off. I know the group chat was confused as hell after Bubba got third and got the stage points. Where does that put us? Where does that put us? Where are we at to the cut line? And NBC's like, yeah, you're in. And we were like, no, we're not. So there was lots of anger and frustration with that. But glad to see Denny is keeping true to his word. I feel like him having actions detrimental has made him more of a villain this year, and also probably made him more hungry. What better way to promote your podcast or to give you the motivation to go record than with a checkered flag and a trophy beside you? So I'll leave that there.
He doesn't have to take a picture with the guy who stole it from him this time.
Hold up, y'all. Carl, Jared, Baraka, Shane. I got something to say. You know what's hilarious when people thought that Bubba was gonna be out the first round? Well, guess what? We made it to the second round. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Kyle Petty Pack.
Right.
With that, moving on to the 2311 corner where we share the successes of the team. To Shane's point, both cars were fast. Both cars looked really good this weekend. Shout out to Tyler. I don't know whether it was intentional or not. He was at Bubba's rear quarter panel. It seemed like the whole race, once they got together, they pretty much stayed together. So Tyler, I don't know if you sacrificed anything in your race to ensure that both cars made it through, but appreciate you making your car as wide as you did the last 20 laps when Ty Gillen had jokes and thought he was about to pass both of y'all. But, to your point, Bonte, there was a lot of NASCAR media that did not have the 23 car at all advancing.
A lot.
And we've said consistently these last 4 weeks. Round one, arguably, was Bubba's best chance to point in. He did what he had to do in Darlington. Kansas went Kansas. But they battled through attrition. They battled through the tire. They battled through everybody else's issues. Both Tyler and Bubba avoided creaming Joey Logano when he wrecked to make it through. So this is what we expected out of 2311. I don't know, the rest of the NASCAR fans didn't. David Wilson said, I got 6 cars. I want 5 in the playoffs. Here we are moving to the round of 12, and all 5 cars are still there. So I know Toyota's part of that. I know Ford's probably ripping their hair out, given recent news. We'll touch on that soon. But it's good to see the investment that has been made in this team, and it's good to see the drivers of both cars, take this very seriously, take this championship push very seriously, because it's not that they're not riding around with yellow on the spoiler and yellow on the windshield banner for no reason. They're fighting for a driver's championship. So with that, Bonte, if you want to add to your your comments before.
Oh, yeah. You know what I was saying? We in the next round. Yes, sir. Man, I'm talking about media. I'm talking about people, the fans. Them other type of fans has up the first round. And we showed that don't count us out. Do not count us out. Because this first round we could do some damage. And I was right. Even though we could have had a better race at Kansas that would have put the nail in the coffin, but that's okay. We still made it to the next round. That's all that matters. I am so proud of Bubba. I am so proud of this team. Even though we had pit issues up and down this whole season, from Bubba saying 6 years in the Cup needs to be replaced to around 12 in the playoffs, shows a massive improvement for this team and him, and I'm so proud of him and this team. And I'm happy as a fan. I can't wait to update my Bubba flag. So let's get it next week. This Sunday we at Texas. We still in here. It's time to get to work. Yes, sir.
Before I pass the mic to Carl, what was your agreement with doing another shoey?
No.
Didn't you say if we advance to the round of 12, you was gonna do a shoe?
No.
You said if he wins or if we advance to the round of 12, you were gonna get some strawberries and cream Dr. Pepper and put in your shoe and drink it.
You don't put words in my mouth, sir. I say if you get a win, I do another shoey.
We're gonna pull that tape back. Carl, go ahead.
Hey, look, man, it's all right, Bonte. You ain't riding for Bubba like the rest of us, bro. That's fine.
Wow.
You can be a soft Bubba fan, bro. That's cool. You bandwagon, that's fine, man.
I'm a bandwagon.
Don't worry.
We need VAR. We need a VAR
check. So in order me, so I'm assuming I can do a shoot all the time. Wow. Okay.
I mean, look, bro. Anyway, man, look. I did mine out of a work boot. So I'm just saying I kind of question your loyalty a little bit. But no, I'm kidding. But if this is the 2311 segment, I guess Jared.
Yes, this is our newly formed 2311 corner where you can speak your piece.
Yeah, folks will tell you leave the rancher.
I will interject really quick. Bonte. I'll make a deal with you with that shoey.
Yeah. I'm
gonna raise the stakes. If we get a win in NIS in the Victory Lane Vibes car, we doing a shoey for that one or not?
Y'all killing me with this damn shoey.
You better say yes, company man. You can't tell our driver you're not gonna take a shoey with him. Take the shoey.
What if I do one with you? I'll do one too if we win. If we win, I'll do one.
I will do one just for that.
All right, I'll do
You
it
heard it
with
here first.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Let's go.
All right, hold this. Let's bring this. Okay, so if Bubba wins during these last couple of races, I would do a shoey, and that's the last time I will do a shoey, unless we win a championship. I would do a double shoey if he won the Daytona 500 next season. You heard it here first, peoples.
Hey man, I'll be hopefully in the stands, and I'll do one. I'll do a whole lot more than that. I might not make it back to work. If Bubba wins the
Man,
500.
man,
Boy,
it's gonna be a
um,
lit night if he do. But you go ahead, bro.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, all this year, last year, and the year before, unfortunately, is that you look at the 23, right? Numbers don't tell the whole story. I wouldn't have been biting my lip last night had Kansas gone the way that it was supposed to go. Even if he didn't win, he would have been soundly in the top 8. I feel like we would have had enough points where, like I said last night, wouldn't have been that big of a deal. Last night had pretty good speed, got relegated, back because of the tire fall off deal. Who could have foreseen that coming? And then there were times where he wanted to run harder and just chose not to because, they didn't want to risk, the night. So, respect for that. But, incredibly proud of the organization as always and Bubba. And for some people to say, oh, he won't make it past the first round, blah, 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 like they look stupid right now. And you can say all you want to, well, he only made it because of X, Y, and Z. Well, my retort to that is he made it because drivers that you felt were better than him did not perform. End of story. Okay. And so I mean just to put that information out there. But yeah, I mean I don't know what else there is to say about it. I feel like there is an excellent chance to build up a surplus of points. He's in a -12 right now to the line, the cut line for the round of 8. Texas, it's kind of hard to read because I don't remember what he ran at Texas 2 last year. I don't know what he ran in the fall race. Did he have an issue last year, or was
Yeah, he had that same issue. It
the
was power
steering
steering,
box issue?
power steering
Yeah,
issue.
that's right.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's right. So, I feel like they've been good at mile and a half. Booty Barker said on Sirius XM that they've had a lot of speed there. He ran good in the All-Star race last year there where they had it. So truly, I think, show up. He had, really good practice qualifying pace, qualify in the top 10, and just stay there, try to get stage points in 1 or 2 of the stages, and just finish out good. I mean, just so many things can happen, right? You don't want to just be like, well, he's just going to win a point and win his way in. Talladega, same situation. I think that they're capable of running a smart race. I know it's took the chance a little bit. And I'm not honestly. Somebody DM'd me today. We were talking about it. I'm not really worried about the Roval. I think that when the chips are down, I think that he can run a smart race and be in a good position. Unfortunately, we got stage cautions back for the road course races, but yeah, I
Boo!
mean it is what it is. And
Not happy about it.
yeah, I mean it is what it is. Yeah, I'm not happy about it either. But that was last week's episode. I wasn't there for it, but
Hey, wait, hold up. You know what? I'm happy that Joel crashed because I remember that interview he did. He said he's happy that stage cautions are back. You know what? He deserves it. He deserved what
right.
happened.
No, I mean I don't want to go that far to say that because I don't want to sound bitter. But I will say this though, like stage cautions. You've got to pick a side, right? Like if we want to talk about, like I'm going to give my 2 cents on it real quick. I didn't give a chance to last week. There are just a lot of things fundamentally we have to figure out about this car and tire combination to make it race like we've had in the past. We went for so many years, running road course races without any sort of, made up cautions, and the racing was great. I watched the 2007, 2008 Watkins Glen races on NASCAR Classics the week leading up to the race. Fantastic. 2013, fantastic. Those races always seem to come down to the end anyway because of pitch strategy and stuff like that. But in order for that to even be a part of, strategy to be part of the the whole deal. You've got to have cars that can pass each other. So now what you've done is you've admitted, like, okay, this car can't race, well in clean air. Clean air is king here. So now we've got to bunch them all back up and hope that they just knock each other out 10 times in a row. So we have some kind of excitement to talk about. I'm not a fan. I'm not going to be a fan of it, and I'm probably going to say some really heated things when we go to the Roval and they have to do like 5 restarts, and in the last stage because guys keep, wrecking or whatever the case may be. I don't know, man. I just, but as far as 2311 goes, immensely proud of Bubba and how funny is it that Kyle Petty got not one but all 4 of his first round exit picks wrong.
0.
That's so funny to me. But yeah, I think that they should be realizing that, Bubba Wallace is a legitimate contender, and I think that he's only going to get better. And I think it's going to be kind of like Martin Truex Jr., where he kind of peaked at the middle of his career, not at the beginning. I really see a ton of similarities between him and MTJ, actually. I was telling somebody this today. So, yeah, man, I'm excited for this next round. Heavily debating on going to Texas. I don't know if I want to spend the money or not, but my vacation starts next weekend, so we'll see. But yeah, man, I'm thrilled about it.
Carl,
what's up?
I know Texas kind of sucks. You might as well go, bro.
I'm thinking about it. The problem is that the prices are insane for Texas specifically, and that's something we'll talk about some other day. But I've been going to Texas since like 2016, and like the prices are always crazy because like they have a lot of resellers, and it really something needs to be done about it, But whatever. Anyway, let's go to the next.
Oh, you wonder why? But
anyway, yeah.
Anyways.
Shane, I know you gave some good insight. Did you want to add any thoughts since we're at the 2311 segment?
Above all, just like I've already said, just how impressive it is with what they've done in such little time. And something I didn't mention is just how impressive it is in such a little shop that they have. The shop that they used to be the shop for Germain Racing, the old Geico 13 team with, Ty Dillon, Casey Mears, all those guys. And it is not a big garage, not at all. And what they have been able to accomplish, even if both of them went out in this round, and, obviously don't want that to happen by any means, but even if that happened, there is so much for every single person that is a part of this team and even fans of this team to be proud of, because it is just incredible what they have done.
Baraka?
Yeah, so my mom just came in, so if you hear a lady in the background, I do apologize. But I'm happy that where this team came from what, like, it's been I think no more than 3 years now we have with 2311, and to the point now this year both cars have advanced to the next round. I'm happy. It's like I like literally words cannot explain how I feel about both Bubba and Tyler advancing to the next round. Again, Kane earlier just said, they're operating from a very small garage compared to their competitors, which is even more impressive. So, and again, Texas is coming up. As much as I dread a race at that godforsaken track, I'm a little optimistic, to say the least. But yeah, I'm excited. I just can't wait for the next round to begin.
Yeah, like I said, David Wilson won it 5 out of the 6. We still got 5 left. I personally am not worried about Texas just because this car does one thing right, and that gives us a show a mile and a half. So, hopefully that means we'll see a great race, or hopefully that means that they're going to learn that they need to reconfigure it back to the old Atlanta so we can have another great mile and a half on the schedule. with that, we've been tiptoeing around some silly season announcements since our last recording. Ford is fighting back tears at this point. Their stud, Zane Smith, is joining the ranks of a Spire Trackhouse Alliance. I don't know what Justin Marks has cooking over there. Obviously, their cars have had speed, but for them to be a new team just as old as 2311 is, you already have an alliance set up. What does that say to Hendrick? Have they fallen off? Have they lost their way? Are the prices too high? SVG coming to town and, literally all hell breaks loose? Like, what's going on? Ford can't keep their talent? I thought they had money.
Bonta, you want to go first, or is it me? Or
You go ahead, boss.
okay, all right. So I don't ever mean to advertise on the podcast on our show, but I would highly advise anybody in this group or anywhere to go listen to both of his episodes on Dinner with Racers. Justin Marks is an incredibly smart visionary, and even his Judging Your Download episode, and he fully understands the sport's current business model and Cup, and he knows what it takes to make it successful. A big part of Trackhouse's success and what they've done has been built around this car, and I have to commend him for that, and everything. And I think Justin Marks is just a really awesome guy to do this. But yeah, I mean, part of him buying into Ganassi was he had the line to Chevy, right? He can make the boss call. And I think, he doesn't have to step over anybody to get what he wants. And, in this sport, you have to do that, right? You have to be able to have the direct line to the plug that is your manufacturer. You are not going to see an organization grow out from under the shadow of somebody that's supplying it. So that's why we had the deal with 2311 having to wait so long. Legacy was like, we're going straight for Toyota's pockets, and that kind of deal. So, yeah, I'm excited about the news to see Zane Smith at Spire. He's been lighting the truck series up. And, I think Carson Hocevar, who's also rumored to be a part of that Spire deal, not the Spire Trackhouse, but the Spire deal, he's shown, look, there is no longer a needed path to develop drivers for this car. You don't need to be in Xfinity for a year or two to learn anything. You have to be in the car, right? And so I think Zane Smith can make the jump, quite effortlessly. And I mean, of course, he's running this year, obviously, but I think he can make the jump full time next year. And I would say by the time we get to the 600, he'll be in the regular conversation of top 10s and stuff like that. I think he will mimic the progress of a young Tyler Gibbs that we've seen this year. So I'm excited behind that. That's cool to see. You're always kind of wondering, as a lifelong fan like I am, like, when are we going to get the new generation of guys that we're talking about every week, right? We had an influx of them like 6 years ago where we got Blaney and Chase Elliott and Bubba and Kyle Larson and these guys, 6 years ago. So now it's like, okay, we're due for another one. And now we're getting, Hunter Nemechek and Hocevar and Smith and all these guys. So that's pretty cool. And then the other silly season news, I don't know if we want to wait on that or not, is obviously Daniel Hemrick's going to be full-time at Colleague next year.
Yes, sir.
I don't have a lot to say about it, but I will say this. I do want to issue an apology to Kiana because I did say some not choice things. I did jokingly criticize the decision. And I didn't realize that I knew she was a Colleague fan, but not a Hemrick fan. And look, whatever it is you want to say about him is fine, but he's not lighting the world on fire. But I had to think about it. If I'm wanting to hire a guy that I know is not going to tear stuff up, right? He's not going to be controversial. We're not worried about his Twitter likes. And a guy that's going to, bring my car home and also be good for my partners. Daniel Hemrick's a great guy for that. Man, a great guy for that. So I think that's
Perfect
a solid
choice.
Yeah, absolutely. A solid choice for that, man. I wish him the best on that. I'm sure this means Allmendinger is probably going to go back to, well, I know he's replacing Justin Haley, but I'm also kind of figuring that he probably is going to go, and Allmendinger is probably going to go back to Xfinity full time. But yeah, I mean, hey, that's a solid move on their part. Keep the guy in house, and promote him up. Don't hire somebody else when you've got a guy working for you that has, some partners that want to come along with him. I think is great. So yeah, I mean that's been pretty cool. But that's all I got to say about the silly season stuff for this week.
Good jump in, Bate.
Yeah, so okay, I used to be a certified Zane Smith hater. I ain't gonna lie, last year I hated Zane Smith so much. But this year, Zane Smith wasn't that bad. Actually, I like the guy. I only hate him no more. I like Zane Smith. He a nice racer. For him to go to Trackhouse /Fire and that little whole partnership thing, happy for him. So I'm looking for him to cook. My boy Daniel Henry come back to the Cup Series, yes sir. I always love Daniel Henry, even though people say what you want about him being a one winner. Okay, cool, congratulations. He's still a champion, and at the end of the day, so I don't care. Say what you want about him. That's my guy. So for him to go to the 31 car is a perfect choice, and I'm so happy and I'm so excited to see him in the Cup Series next season because that's my boy. Who else? Justin Haley going to Rick Ware. Okay, cool. Who else am missing?
The host of our news. I mean, we know it, but it still hasn't been officially announced yet. But that's the only shoe that we're waiting to drop, or that's waiting to drop, I should say.
Ooh, interesting.
Unless somebody else knows something.
Interesting. But yeah,
we'll see. Time and
we'll
place. All right, y'all. We're gonna do before we get into predictions. We got to do an Ask Bonte hashtag Ask Bonte. Make sure if you guys want your questions featured on the show, be sure to use the hashtag Ask Bonte. We have a question from Brandon KVNGL3AM on Twitter. Thank you for reaching out. He asks, what is one thing you would do or what you think NASCAR can do to help bring more minorities in the sport?
That's a really good question. So we obviously have like the Bubba's Block Party. That's also fantastic, but I'm thinking about I think NASCAR should do like black organizations that is in the city, like organizations with minority kids in there. Talk to them about the sport, see they interested, take it to races and stuff. I think we could do that. Obviously, block parties and some also have drivers like Bubba or Daniel Suarez or Roger Carew go to community organizations and talk to them about the sport. We could also do that too to bring more minorities into the sport. Yeah.
Wonderful. Since it is Ask Bonte, Shane, do you have a question that you want to ask Bonte? I know that he's a really big fan and supporter of yours. You want to flip the script right quick?
Sure. Let's see. All right. My God, putting me on the spot here. Let's see. Hashtag Ask Bonte. What is... This is kind of probably a lame one, but what's your favorite 2311 paint scheme from this season?
Oh, okay. That's a good one.
You can do one for each car, by the way, as well.
Okay. Can I add Tyler in there too?
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's what
actually,
one for each car means.
Yeah.
all right, bet. Oh, my bad. So that's a tough question, but in my opinion, I'm going to have to go with Bubba Wallace's 2023 car. I'm going to have to go with his All Star car from this year. Damn you, Lionel. We shouldn't make that damn doggone diecast. Damn. Anyways, though, and then for Tyler Reddick one, either Money Line or the Jordan brand from Bristol, because that is too clean.
All right, now the question was so good. We got to go around the horn. The rest of us got to answer that. I like that question. Carl, what's your top 2 paint schemes this year?
My top 2 paint schemes?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Bubba?
For Bubba and one for Tyler.
Oh, man. Man, for Bubba, I probably have to say, man, there's so many to choose from. I'd say last. No, you know what? I'd say last night. The Moon Cars was just solid. I like that a lot. Hopefully, it shows up on iRace and that and the Columbia Black and Gold from last week. For Tyler, man, I'd say Xfinity scheme from Atlanta. I mean, last night's car, the Jordan cars are fantastic. Never in a million years, but I thought I would see Jordan Brand in NASCAR in that capacity. But the Xfinity car was just something else. It was really nice. So I have to say that. But last night's cars are very close, almost tie second.
Yeah, that West Coast Customs car was kind of crazy. Baraka, what's your top 2 favorite schemes this year?
Oh, again, that's the tough one. I know for Tyler, again, I agree with I agree earlier that every like the Jordan branded cars for Tyler Reddick is I haven't seen a bad one in my personal opinion. Yeah, I haven't seen a bad one, but I probably low-key, I think I'm in the minority. The one Tyler Reddick had in Pocono, I think was it the wing
Yeah,
that with the
yeah.
giant H on the
We
hood? Yeah.
we in Jordan brand.
Yeah,
The
the wing
Wings
Jordan brand, yeah.
twos. Yeah,
Yeah, the
that was
wings
tough.
twos, yeah. That's probably like my favorite Jordan branded 45 car this year. And for Bubba, ooh, that's a tough one. Last night's car was pretty tough. I can't lie. I actually liked it. I think that or I think the Xfinity car, in my opinion, are my favorite. But I think last night's is probably my favorite paint scheme for Bubba.
I'd say for me, Jordan really never misses when it comes to these shoe schemes. I think this has been the best shoe scheme this year with the J Balvin car. I think what just made it so impactful, I think he helped design Tyler's suit. Tyler had the shoes on pre-race. Mike had the shoes on at the race. And it's not often where the celebrity collabs get spotlighted the way that they do. So for me, for sure, I think my favorite right now so far is the J Balvin car. I know they're probably cooking up one more Jordan scheme this year for Tyler, but so far it's been the J Balvin joint.
Just
And then
saying.
for Bubba, I just like the Moon car was pretty. But I still gotta go with that Infinity Gold, man. I hope it makes a comeback. Shout out to whoever designs Columbia schemes. They have not missed once. They haven't missed once in the whole entire time of him having this partnership. When he was still with RPM, since he's been with 2311, they have not missed on the scheme yet. So whoever is signing and improving on them things, please keep doing this. Goodness gracious, Columbia brings fire to the track. And then hopefully, if the Grimace car gets picked and he runs that Homestead, then I may change my mind.
I will say this though, before I let y'all finish. Lionel, I hope we get that. I hope we get that Jordan Brand J Balvin card because I will be needing that. Already got Tyler's Jordan Brand's North Carolina, and and the one you were poking on pre-order because we need those.
I already have the 164s of those pre-ordered as well.
Yes, sir.
All right. Texas predictions. Who y'all got winning Texas? Who's it going to be? Who's advancing?
I'll slide in
to 8.
first on this one.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Jump
well,
on
so
in.
are we doing like every series like Xfinity and Cup? Or, all right.
Yeah, we're gonna do Xfinity and Cup. Trucks stay on ice until Talladega. But who you got?
Well, man. So honestly, I hate to like sound like a broken record. I was talking about John Hunter earlier, but I feel like obviously he's gonna be one to watch. I don't know about the win though, to be honest. Texas lately, I know we haven't been there this year, except I guess trucks went there, but that's kind of a whole different animal. But at Xfinity and Texas Cup at Texas last several years, it's shown just how unpredictable it really is. I mean, a lot of the Texas playoff races for Xfinity seem to always have a big wreck for some reason. And the Cup race last year had all those tire issues. But honestly, for a Texas prediction, I'm gonna say, man, I know that all guys just want. Yeah, honestly, yeah, I'm looking through it. I'm gonna have to go with John Hunter again. Like I was gonna try not to, but I'm saying I can't go against him. I think it's gonna be John Hunter this time. That team, at what they did at Kansas and everything, just the butt whipping that they gave the field that day. I think we might see something similar there. In terms of Cup, I think Byron could be a threat. Lock himself into the round of 8. Tyler, obviously, he won there last year, but my honest, true prediction for Texas this weekend is going to be Kyle Larson. He, like him or not, even as cocky as he is, especially after those Kansas radio comments, but that's a whole other conversation. But he doesn't make him less of a hell of a driver, and I think that the 5 has shown speed at Texas. I can't quite remember what they did last year at Texas, but I think that this will be their time to kick off the round of 12 right, go ahead and push themselves into the round of 8. And as long as Tyler has a good day, even if he's right behind in second, I'm good with that too. So I guess to make a long story short, Xfinity, 20 car, John Hunter Nemechek, Cup, 5 car, Kyle Larson.
I like it.
So I'll go. So Xfinity, like Shane said, I'm going to go with John Hunter Nemechek, get his 7th win of this season. Man's putting some speed this season. Definitely a temperature favorite, so I'm gonna have to go with him. And for the Cup Series, I'm going to actually pick a Ford driver and pick. This might be a hot take, but Ryan Blaney. I have my boy Ryan Blaney.
Bold pick.
Winning Texas. He won there last year with the All-Star race. But that's my hot take pick. I hope my boy beat up or Tyler do well, get stage points and do well at Texas, because Texas kind of suck. But overall, yeah.
Ooh, Carl, who you got?
So first of all, I'm gonna tell you something. I got me all 3 series in our race, and it's a home game this week. I'm so close to getting that first A series, that Cup Series win. So that Big X a Plug song in Texas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be the intro if that happens. But anyway, Xfinity is gonna be need me check. They've been solid on 1.5 this year. They've been solid everywhere this year. Go ahead, get that win, get to the round of 8. And I guess Cup, man, I'll say Denny. He's been good at Texas, won at Texas before. He ran good there last fall until his deal with Byron. And there's no reason to suspect that he wouldn't, run there again. Like I said, the form that he's on has been insane these last 6 weeks or so. So, excited about that. I don't want to jinx Bubba. I don't want to, get my hopes up. I think Bubba can win the top 10. I think there's a very real chance that he could win. We'll have to wait to see how practice and everything shakes out. But, just in the ire of being superstitious, I won't say he'll win though. But yeah, those are my picks for this weekend. Were we doing who like any other picks or who advances or whatever? Or it was just those two?
I mean, we were just gonna do the race weekend.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
I'm gonna ask Shane another question when we get through this part. Baraka, what you got this weekend?
Okay, I'm guessing for the Xfinity, of course, I'm guessing I'm in agreement with everyone here. John Hunter, need my car. He's been my guy all season, and he's been showing incredible pace. So there's no reason for me to believe, unless Texas becomes Texas is Texas, and it's gonna throw a wrench in whatever I want to see happen. But I will back my boy Nemechek to win the Xfinity race. And for the Cup Series, I actually think Blaney could be a surprise. I don't know why. I think maybe because I'm judging off of last year's All-Star race. We won't talk about the shenanigans that happened at the end, or else we'll be here all night. But yeah, I think Blaney could be a surprise contender for a win for me. I think he could. And probably Reddick, but I'm more leaning towards Blaney to win it.
Man, I like these picks.
Yeah.
For myself personally, John Hunter is going to win. You can't stop Toyota on 1.5 miles. That's just no. He's winning Xfinity race. I have Denny winning this weekend. I think the last time he won, he went back to back. Odds are probably pretty good. He's going to go back to back this weekend too. So, with that, just to wrap this up right quick, just wanted to shout out Shane again. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for taking the time with us. If you don't already follow Shane, you need to follow him on Twitter. He's Shane Monday 45. Catch him Thursday nights rocking the black and yellow for now until we change it. On Twitch, his Twitch link, Twitch TV/Shane Monday 40. He does a really good job promoting and reminding us of when he's getting on. Catch all of us and the Twitch stream, giving us our love and support for him. And I just have to, we talk about favorite paint schemes. You did your thing designing these cars, so you deserve some credit as well, sir.
I appreciate it.
That car looks crazy. Like, it looked crazy in the scheme when you said, I was like, ooh. But like watching the race last week, I was like, man, yeah, that's way better than everybody else's copycat schemes that they were running that race series. So shout out to you. While we have you, I know you're gonna be back again. But just while we have you here, who do you have being the first 4 out as far as the round of moving on to the round of 8?
So for the round of 12, this whole predicting the grid thing, it gets harder every single week. That's just how it goes. But I think so. The first round, the first 4 I had on the round of 16, I got all right except one. I had Harvick going out. That happened. I had Stenhouse out. That happened. McDowell. That happened. But I had Blaney instead of Logano. So that was the one I got wrong there.
Still a Penske car, so you're still right there.
I was in the ballpark, but honestly, so for the round of 12, like I said, not really predicting any of these and who's winning their way in, but just kind of more so who makes it, who doesn't. I definitely don't think you can bet against Byron. I've got him moving on. Truex, as long as he doesn't have any bad luck like he did at Kansas, I think he's going to be just fine. We were, as us 45 fans, 23 fans, we really honestly didn't need him moving on, but obviously it's a fellow Toyota, so happy he's moving on with us. And I got Denny going on. Larson, like I said, I think he'll be your winner on Sunday. The first one that I have out, and I hate to do it because I like him a lot, but I think that magic's finally going to run out, and I'll explain why here in a minute. But I've got Chris Buescher heading out this round. Kyle Busch, I've got him moving on. I feel like the 8 team, those are 3 pretty good tracks for that team. Obviously, the 8 team won at Texas last year. Kyle won at Talladega earlier this year, and Reddick always showed good speed at the Roval, and I feel like Kyle can do something with that as well in the 8 car. Seabell, think he'll be good. Reddick, think he'll be good. That might be a little biased, but either way. Next one I have out might be a little bit of a surprise, honestly, but I think Ross Chastain's out after this one. Because, I mean, I'm sure y'all have talked about it, and we've all talked about it as fans in general. Since that whole Darlington mess, he's just not been the same. And even in this first round, he didn't have any kind of crazy showing, really, to be honest. He had consistent runs, but, he declined every race. So, the first race, he finished pretty good. First race he finished pretty good, and then the second one he was worse, and then he was way worse last night at Bristol. So I just don't think, unless they can really pick their momentum up, I think the 1 car is done. Next one out, I had him out in the first round. This time I think I'll be right, but Blaney, I don't think he'll make it out of this one. I might be wrong again, and we'll probably be back on here, and I'll be talking about that again after Charlotte. But either way, and that comes down now to old Brad K and Bubba. And as much as I hate to do it, I've got Brad moving on. And I'll tell you why, because I think Brad's finally going to shake that plate track curse he's had going on. And I think instead of Buescher getting it, he'll finally get one and move on. And, with Bubba, it's just 3 tracks that are pretty hard for him. We know that, he's gotten better at the road courses for sure. But, it's unpredictable and not even near as unpredictable as Talladega. So hopefully I'm wrong. I hope I am wrong. I would love Bubba to move on to the round of 8, but my round of 8 is the 45, the 6, the 5, the 24, 11, the 8, 20, and the 19.
I like when people share their opinions and they share logic with it. I like that. We'll see what happens. Good stuff. So with that, we'll wrap. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you, Barack and Shane, for taking the time to come with us. Make sure you follow Shane. Make sure you follow our presenting sponsor, Eastside Roasterz with the Z, on Facebook and Instagram and Threads. We will catch y'all post Tejas. We out.
Peace.
Peace. See you later.
See you around. See you in Texas.
Into the next round, but you finished 14th and did it. Describe your night. It looked like that last run there was pretty tough.
Yeah, it was. God, I love that shit right there. Counted us out. Like Coco Gauff said, all they're doing is adding fuel to the fire. I love it. I love where I'm at in this team. Wish mom and dad and my sister were here to celebrate with me. A career year. Just got to keep it going. Appreciate all the partners.